Yes, we are back live again. Chedozi and I are moderating this session. I really want to thank Dozier for doing this. It's such an honor to have him with us here. We have the man of the moment coming in very soon, but before that, we're going to go ahead and play the profile. But I'll hand over to Chedozi and while we continue.
All right, everybody, welcome back. You know how we do it. Let me see you in the comment section already. Our guest is here, Mr. Akinropo, and we are going to take his introduction very quickly. He's already backstage. Once the introduction is done playing, I will have him live here to share with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome again.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away. Cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away.
Awesome, 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 awesome. This session is the session you don't want to miss. Okay, let me just have you whet your appetite a few more seconds as we take a review from the inner circle. All right, so we're going to have an inner circle member give us a review before Mr.
Hi,
Akinola.
my name is Dr. Adrian Mildrekere, and I have been part of the International Parent Academy for the past 6 months, since December. I have two kids, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and it's been a lovely journey so far. I've learned so much from the academy. I've learned how to discipline my children properly. I've learned how to teach them executive skills to make them more independent. I've also learned how to be a better parent, not trying to do the things that our parents did and by shouting and making your children fear you. I've also learned to allow my children actually get to know me better and bond with them better, and letting them to understand how life works in a very fun way. It also helped me to be a better person in terms of things on how I communicate with people, not just my kids. So it's been a holistic experience for myself and my wife, and I can't thank Wendy Love for creating this lovely academy and this lovely arena for us to come and learn to be better versions of ourselves by our parents and better versions of ourselves going forward. Initially, when I came into the academy, I was initially very apprehensive because I did not know what to expect. There were a lot of women there, and I thought there would be very few men, but I went in and I was able to engage in the activities on a daily basis. And yes, it was difficult to be quite consistent, but the few times I did not do the activities, I felt very bad and I felt something was missing in my day. My kids have really enjoyed and seen the change in me, and I just look forward to getting better and better. I'm not yet there, I'm a work in progress, but as I say, consistency is key and perseverance is key also. So I want to thank Wendy and I look forward to learning some more from you. Thank you and bye bye.
All right, all right, all right. So that is the gospel of the Intentional Parent Academy Inner Circle. And we have our guest in the building. Welcome, sir. We honor you, sir. Thank you very much for being on the show and in the house tonight. Welcome.
It's also a great honor for me to be here. I thank everybody for the wonderful job that you guys are doing at the intentional parenting. Anyway, we are together. I am I saying what you guys are doing. What we are doing is a great job we are doing. So I want to thank the visionary of this movement, Madam Wendy.
Sorry, boss.
Yes, please.
Your volume.
Your
Your
audio
volume is as
is
if it's a distance.
waffled.
Your audio.
Can
We
you
don't know
hear
what
me now?
happened.
It sounded like there's something either covering the microphone or something like that.
Nothing is covering the microphone.
Yeah, it's getting better now. It's getting better now.
Is it better now?
A little bit, but it's not there yet. It's still far off.
Wow. Can I can I go out and come in again?
Okay, maybe let's try that. Maybe let's try that.
Let me try that.
Okay, we're going to give Mr. Akinropo just a minute to sort out the tech. We want to be sure that you in the audience section can hear everything and so you don't miss out on anything. Please drop your comments. Let us know that you can hear. Give us some feedback so that we can be sure that everything is good and you're going to have an amazing session from this end. I want to see all the persons here. Drop your comment section. Let us know that you are in the building. Just a few more minutes for tonight and we will be out of your faces until tomorrow morning. All right. So, if you are enjoying the conversation, if you were here in the first session, let us know. And then you might want to tell us about your expectations for tonight. Just before we get into it, tell us about your expectations. Tell us about the first session, what you have gotten out of it. And let's just have some bit of a conversation there. Somebody said the volume is low. Truly, okay. He's trying to sort that out, and he will be back here very soon. In no time, Mr. Akinropo will be back with us. Okay, okay.
So
Coach
Mr.
Wendy, do you want to
Akinropo
tell
is
us a little
going to
about?
be
Yeah, 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 yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about Mr.
yes. So Mr.
Akinropo?
I think one of the things I like the audience to understand about Mr. Akinropo is I say that he's the only one I've seen in the fatherhood space in Africa yet. I haven't really seen any other person. And Mr. Akinropo has done just amazing. When I say amazing, I mean amazing. He's a man that you want to listen to. He's a father. He has adult children. So he's not just, speaking from
Hmm.
professionalism. He's also speaking from his experience as well. Mr. Kerobo he's one of my bosses, one of the people that when I see them, I'm on the floor. So Mr. Kerobo is going to be here. Please get ready. Please be putting your paper and your pen and begin to make this happen. I think Mr. Kerobo is back here. Boss.
Okay.
Is it better now?
I think we can flow. It's
Hello.
better, but there's.
Hello,
Hello,
sir.
Go ahead and speak, sir.
I can hear you clearly.
Awesome, awesome. It's great now.
Now this is good. Yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
I want to thank everybody for being around today. And I want to thank the whole crew. I want to thank the visionary. I want to thank everybody. And more so, I want to thank God for the great work that all of us are doing in this space. It is not so easy. And that is what I tell people, that when you look at it in the past 30 years, 25 years, you hardly hear anybody, doing any talk, anything around parenting, around fatherhood, around children, sex education. Those things were limited to some activities in the church. But in the last 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, it has been from glory to glory. So I want to use this opportunity to thank everybody who has been in this space. And I want to thank all our followers. I want to thank everybody. The great testimonies that we've received so far in this space, it can only be God. So today, I am delighted, I'm excited, to take up this topic. And the topic is the hallmark of fatherhood. And we have responsibilities, relationship, and respect. Mr. Ide, I think I can go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are good. Just go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So when we talk about our fatherhood, what are we really talking about? When we talk about parenting, what are we really talking about? When we talk about leadership, what are we talking about? When we talk about handlers around our precious children, what are we really talking about? We're talking about somebody who is living a life of sacrifice. We're talking about somebody who is ready to give it all out just to make sure that the children God has committed in our hands are faring well. These children, we are able to raise them qualitatively such that they grow up to become adjusted adults. They become adjusted adults. And when we're talking about this responsibility, who is the head of this responsibilities? Who is saddled with the responsibility to oversee the affairs of how we handle our children? Then you talk about fathers. You talk about fathers, then you talk about men in the house, you talk about adults, male adults around our children. So when you talk about male adults, or rather when you talk about fathers around our children, you are not talking about the biological fathers alone. We are not talking about the biological fathers alone. We are talking about every male adult around our children. Every male adult around our children. So when you're talking about every male adult around our children, you are talking about anyone on the street who is a male. You are talking about a bus conductor. You are talking about a musician. A musician is a father to our children because a father is someone that influences. So it may not necessarily be biological father alone. So you are talking about artisans. You are talking about drivers who drive many cities. Some of us have drivers who take them to school or who take them to some areas. So you are talking about drivers. You are talking about every male adult around our children. They qualified to be fathers. They qualified to be their fathers. So now, what can the biological fathers do? Biological fathers are supposed to be the primary caregivers. They are supposed to be the primary caregivers because the children are under their roof. They are the first unit of the society that these children belong to. They are the first handlers. So if they are the first handlers, how can we make sure that the hallmark of fatherhood, which among our responsibility, relationship, and respect are effectively etched in the memory of the children that we have? Why do we need this topic at this critical moment? We need this topic at this critical moment because the absence of the father's manual leaves a void that may take years of experience and many mistakes to overcome. Don't forget, When I went in my introduction, I was talking about fathers are not only unnecessarily the biological fathers. Every adult around our precious children is every male adult around our precious children is a father. But the onus now lies on the primary caregiver, the primary father, the primary fathers who are saddled with responsibility to etch in the memory of our children responsibility, respect, and relationship. Because those three things, they are key. The way we relate with them, the way we handle them will definitely, take into cognizance how these people are going to relate with people outside. How much time do we create with them, for them, such that they will definitely have quality relationship with us? How much time do we give to them such that our responsibilities as fathers are not they're not weighing in any area? How much time we have with them will go a long way to show how they respect us, how we respect them, then also how they are going to respect people around them. Right? So I want to take that word again. We may write this thing down. The absence of the father's manual, don't forget, the manual we give them will always supersede the manual every other male adult gives them outside. Don't forget, when you're talking about fatherhood or when you're talking about fathers, you are talking about every male adult around our children. But the critical job, the main job, lies with the primary caregivers, primary fathers, right? Which are the people, the biological fathers, that the children are growing under them. And now I am saying, once we have what I call father's manual will lay the foundation, because such foundation would definitely negate any foundation or whatever anyone outside, any male adult wants to build on that foundation. So I take that again. The absence of the father's manual will definitely, will leave a void that may take years of experience and many mistakes to overcome. So if fathers don't have the manual that is, that is intentionally scripted for these children to look at, for these children to weigh, for these children to be able to know, this is what my this is what my father had handed over to me. There is nothing again from outside that can really negate or supersede what my father has handed over to me. So the absence of that father's manual will leave a void that may take years of experience and many mistakes to overcome. So all of us as fathers, we have this job to do. So when I say we have this job to do, I say that with so much intentionality, and I say it deliberately. And that is why to drive home this point, there is a metaphor I'm going to use for the purpose of responsibility, respect, and relationship. This is something I've always known, that whatever value that we want to teach our children, we are supposed to be deliberate about it. Because children watch us, they watch what we do right from when they were in the womb. They watch what we do. They watch what we ask them to do, and they watch what that thing we ask them to do. They watch us how we don't always do it. So when you look at those areas, you will always understand that it is somehow critical for us to be deliberate in the way we relate with these children. So I want to employ, the metaphor of the ripple effect. The ripple effect. The ripple effect says the desired cultures in fatherhood emerge from life-changing environments. Environment emerge from small communities. The small communities now fosters relationship, respect, and responsibility. So once we create communities and environment around our children in our house, what follows, which is the resultant consequence of the effectiveness of the two, effectiveness of communities and environment, what follows is culture. So in that culture, how strong that culture is will now determine the effectiveness of relationship, respect, and responsibility. Let me take that again, the ripple effect. The desired cultures in fatherhood emerge from life-changing environment. Desired culture of relationship, desired culture of respect, the desired culture of responsibility emerge from life-changing environments. So it is the environment that will do what? That will form small communities. The small communities now will now foster relationship, respect, and responsibility. And once we have that, what follows is culture. Is that culture that we are going to hold on to. So what some of fathers, some families, what we don't have in our home, what we don't have in our hood is culture. We seem to want to teach these children from the word of mouth. We seem to want to teach them the way we were taught, because we are so quick to say, right? Our parents parented us without any manual, right? Our parents parented us without any manual. So why do I need manual to parent today's children? And I always tell parents that you need manual because we neither parent for yesterday nor today. We parent for tomorrow. We neither parent for today nor yesterday. We parent for tomorrow. What some, if not most, of our parents did, especially some of us who belong to Generation Next and Generation X, those were the children that were given birth to from 1965 to 1980. We belonged to Generation X. Majority of Generation X were raised with the mindset of yesteryears and the mindset of then. And that is why you see some of us who are still struggling, to meet up with the generation now, because we were parented for industrial generation, right? But we must not look in that direction. We must be able to build on the success of our parents. We must be able to build on the success of our fathers. And that is why we need what I call the father's manual. So when we talk about ripple effect, I know many of us, we have heard that word before. And that is because it's something that we are used to. And that is the reason why I purposely use it as a metaphor. What does it do? So when we throw a small stone, when we throw a small stroke into a lake or pond, and watch the effect it has when it hits. So when we throw a stone into a river or a pool or a pond or into a lake, you watch the effect it has when the stone hits the water, the surface of the water. So when that little stone hits the surface of the water, it makes a splash. Following that splash is a ripple effect. You see those splash, they just spread. They can spread. It depends on the pressure of the stone. They can spread quick just to cover even the base of the lake or the pond when you throw that little rock into it. So it makes a splash. Following that splash is a ripple effect. So starting with one small ring of water, new rings begin to spread outward in a concentric circle or in concentric circles. That thing is so scientific. You don't need anything to hold it. All you need to do is just to throw a little rock, small stone, throw it in a lake, and you see the ripple effect spreading. You see it. What happened? What happened is just one stone that you have or we have thrown into it, then ripple effect happens. So it's the same way it happens in our families. Let me explain this. So in families, families also experience a ripple effect too, both good and bad ones. So our children are so quick, right, to pick good or bad ones. To pick good or bad ones. Let me share one of these stories, right? It's one of those stories that we encountered with uh, one of my clients, right? When we sorted this out, and it made me to understand that we can use this, as a learning material, learning tool, just to make sure that other parents and other fathers, they learn from this. So this is the story. There was a man back in the days, right? He was the father of one of these friends that I met that came to me about something that they were going through. So this man had two sons, then about three girls. Fine. So this man was all shade of what was not so palatable about fatherhood that you can think of. I don't want to begin to mention all those things, right? So he wasn't really showing good examples, to these children, and he didn't know uh, how the ripple effect was affecting the children, what he was doing. So when these boys grew up, when they became men, one of the boys, right, decided that the lifestyle my dad lived, that is my kind lifestyle I want to live. He decided to take a wrong side of the father, unknown to the father, right? Or the father was late. He felt this was the best lifestyle my father could live, and that was what I was going to live. I'm going to live. The other boy, right, felt that, well, with the lifestyle of my dad, and he was able to raise us to this level, to university, there was nothing so good about my dad other than he struggled, and with the help of some relatives, he struggled to send us to university. He never believed in sending us to university. He actually handed off, but some people came in, right, to support him, that don't worry, give us these children, we'll send them to university. So when they came out of university, the other guy felt that this wasn't the best my dad could offer. I am not going to live after the pattern of my father. I am not going to live after the pattern of my father. I'm going to script a new culture of life for myself. I'm going to script a new culture for myself. So this guy came to meet me, and we sat down. What is it that you want in life? He drew his plan for me, what he wanted in his life. The marriage, he is married about 5 or 6 years. The marriage was just about 6 years. He said that even though he didn't want to live the pattern, the lifestyle of his dad, though his other brother is already taking that step, he said he doesn't want to do it. What can he do? How can he script a new culture for himself? How can he script a new culture for himself? Right? I just made him to understand that what the dad did was not intentional, even though to him, to the dad, maybe when he was alive, he felt he was living the best lifestyle that he could imagine in life, right? Maybe he felt so, but I made this guy to understand that it wasn't really intentional, because if you belong to my generation, you will always know that these men, these fathers, they knew they were not living the best of lifestyle for themselves, right? But they will always have this, grip of regret about their life, maybe because of what somebody did. Maybe somebody encouraged them into taking many wives, encouraged them into smoking, encouraged them into excessive alcohol intake, encouraged them into many, vices. Maybe somebody did, right? So the guy was really afraid that he doesn't want to live this life. What can he do? And me and him sat down and we scripted something nice for him, and he's living 4 years after now. He's living very well in those things that we scripted together. What the guy did, the guy had done something nice because of the bad ripple effect that his father handed over to him. Unfortunately, the other brother went for it. He did not go for it, not because of his intentionality alone. He sought for help from a professional to help him and to help him draft, nice culture for himself. So as families, we can experience ripple effect too, both good or bad ones. It simply means the effect of small decisions on the type of culture the father institutes. So the ripple effect in families is as a result of the small decision. It doesn't have to be big. Remember the story behind the ripple effect. Just small rock, just small stone, throw it into the pool, throw it into a pond. You see the ripple effect, the circle, the concentrated circle just begin to spread. You don't need a whole a stone to be thrown into it. So the same way, unknown to us, many of us as fathers, that small action, unknown to us, we had inadvertently thrown it or threw it into our family system. And the ripple effect is what many of us are experiencing in our home now. It is as a result of that ripple effect that our children don't know how to take up responsibilities. They don't know how to even be responsible for their life, for themselves, because father's lifestyle had not shown at the ripple effect of the father's lifestyle is giving the children bad lifestyle. It's giving them wrong lifestyle. Though the fathers are talking, it could be talking that, why are you living your life like this? But he soon forget that what the children are doing is a ripple effect of what the father had given to them, right? So the same way, our lifestyle as fathers, if that lifestyle has not given them self-respect, if that lifestyle has not shown them on how to inculcate the value of self-respect, children will not respect themselves and they will not respect others. The same way about relationship. The ripple effect of our bad relationship will always affect them. I tell parents, I tell fathers, it doesn't have to do with us having 24 hours with them in a day. Because when I speak to parents, when I speak to fathers, the first thing they will always tell me is, where is the time? You know how many times we born, in the hold up out of 24 hours. You know how many times left for us to sleep. So where is the time to create for my children? And I always tell them that it is not, because I was there before. It is not about the quantum of the times, 2 hours, 3 hours. No, it has a lot to do with what we have as fathers. It has a lot to do with the content that we have as fathers. It has little to do with the amount of time that we have for them. Then, having known that the content of our engagement with them, then it has a lot to do also to the time these children will be receptive. They will be most receptive to us. It is not, I give it to us as parents. We are trying as fathers. I know some of us we have to wake up 9 a.m., I come back by 7 p.m., even 10 p.m. And that, even as I'm here now, I'm still in the office. I'm not home yet. My children are with me in the office because I quickly went to pick some of them in the school. We can't just go home straight. We are still together in the office, right? We are doing this webinar together right now, right? So what happens in that time? we look out for the time they will be most receptive, not the time we are going to be, not the time that is most convenient with us, right? And this is something I've done before until I was able to know the time these guys are going to be most receptive to me. I did not enjoy the engagement I have with them. So I wanted something nice. I wanted to inculcate right value system in them, but I didn't know how to pass it across to them because I was not connecting to them through the most receptive time. They will want me to, and they want to listen to me. So what do we do going forward? So what are the factors that give ripple effect on hindered expression in fatherhood? What are the factors that give ripple effect on hindered expression in fatherhood? One of these factors, there are three factors. One factor is the community, the communities, right? The second factor is environment. The third factor is culture. The third factor is culture. When I say community, I am not talking about the immediate environment. I'm not talking about where we live in. That is not the community. The community I'm talking about is, the first community I'm talking about is the fathers and the mothers. That is the first community. This is one of the factors that foster ripple effect that will make these guys, to grow up with the value of responsibility, value of relationship, and value of respect. Right? So in community, we mean clusters of people in the home working with one another towards a goal. Clusters of husband and wife. Clusters of husband and wife, maybe uncle, aunt, who again are cousins, staying with the family, if they so permit. They are the first community that foster the ripple effect. They are the first community that gives the ripple effect on hindered expression in fatherhood. Cluster of people in the home working with one another towards a goal. What goal are we working towards? What goal? What goals are we working towards? Is the family, is the community that believes in unity? I want us to begin to think about this now, right? Why are we talking about these communities? We are talking about these communities because I have had many fathers, I have had many mothers, I have had many adults around our precious children, feign ignorance of the behaviors of their children. I have seen this in practice. I have seen this in academics. I have seen this in all facets of this assignment that we do. You see some children, they live a kind of dual life. They exhibit a kind of behavior in the home because they don't want their parents to beat them, and they exhibit another one outside. Then again, they exhibit another one in the home because parents don't beat them, and at the same time, parents lack requisite discipline to actually structure them in the right manner. But when they go out, where they will beat them, they shape up. And that's why when they behave somehow, parents will always say they don't know where they learn it. They don't behave like that in the home. Even when some of these teenagers, when they grow out of us, when they go to universities, some parents are still feigning ignorance about about the outcome of their children in the university. They still feel that I don't know where they learned this from. Hello, fathers, you forgot the ripple effect that you had inadvertently allowed to affect the way the children behave. So when you talk about the community, you are talking about What are those things? What are the behaviors that exhibit or that parents, that fathers and mothers exhibit within themselves? What do they have to control any of the excesses? Now, I have another story to buttress this point. Quick one. There was a man, right? His teenage daughter insisted that she's dating, the teenage daughter was dating a guy. And the man felt this guy does not possess the kind of value that we want in this house, that we know in here. You too, you know. You can't go ahead with this guy. The girl insisted, no, she will go ahead. She loves him, she likes him, blah, 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 all those things. Right? Fine. Now, the man was troubled. He relayed this experience with his friend, and his friend said something. Why do you think your daughter is listening, is clinging, right, with the boy and not listening to you and not clinging with you to you? Why do you think so? This is the daughter that you raised for 19 years. Now she's believing the voice of outside. She's listening to the voice of outside rather than instead of listening to your voice, right? So what did this man do? Okay, the friend now told the man that it's possible that the guy outside is giving your daughter is giving your daughter a kind of experience that is not getting in the home. What type of experience is giving her a compelling and interesting experience? It's giving her a compelling and interesting experience. Let us write down those things down. If what we give our children does not exceed the money for the school fees, the food, and what again? Vacation, they are not seeing anything compelling and interesting. They will not listen to us. And that is one of those little things we don't pay attention to. That is one of the little rock thrown into the pool that causes the ripple effect unknown to us. Okay, now what did this man do thereafter? The man was just surfing on internet, was just looking for something nice to do, right? The man now saw an orphanage in another country. They were looking for somebody, to partner with, because they want to expand. They want to expand their operation beyond the shores of their country. So this man wrote a letter to them, and this man said that he wanted to partner with them, that he's going to bring them to his community, to his country. He's going to be their country manager. And those guys agreed. When they agreed, the man brought this thing to the table. When he brought it to the table, he analyzed it. The three children, including the daughter that did not listen to the dad, agreed. Even the daughter spearheaded the move to raise money for this project over the internet. 1 year, 2 years, when this thing went on, the project went on, the teenage girl, now 21, came back on her own accord and told the man that she had broken up with this guy, that she was sorry that she made her dad to go through turbulent, pressure, depression, near depression while that thing lasted. Because immediately they started that project, the man did not say anything again concerning leave this guy. The man got the whole family interested. The man got the whole family entangled in this project. Even when this girl was in school, she was still raising funds. She was campaigning on this in the campus that there is a project that their school, that the family is going through, and they want to take some people off the road. They want to give them free education, all those stuffs, right? So, and the girl came back to tell the dad that she was able to do that because she had seen another good side of her dad. Beyond the money the dad was giving her, beyond the provision, beyond everything, the girl and the children were able to see a compelling and interesting story, a compelling and interesting experience from their dad to hold on to. As a result of that, the community that they belong to, which is the dad's project, and the mom, are giving them positive ripple effect. By the time before the girl finished the university, the girl had started her own pet project. Because of what? She learned it from her dad. She learned responsibility from the dad. She learned self-respect from the dad, because if you have self-respect, you'll be able to respect others. And at the same time, she learned quality relationship from the father, just because the father provided compelling and interesting story. So that is why some of us fathers, right, when we don't want our children, to go into some relationship, whether with the opposite sex or with same sex, we don't always need, we don't even need to compel them to do what we want them to do. What you need to do, just engage in interesting and compelling stories. No matter how little that thing is, it will have a positive ripple effect. The children will always know, no, I don't need to do this. My dad or my mom or my parents or my family had provided this, and this is the line that we are following. So when, as a community in the home, the father, the mother, any project around them, when there is a project around them, they don't have the project, they should have something going on with the family. That means there are clusters of people in the home working with one another towards a goal. What is the goal that the family is working towards? What is the effect of that goal to the larger society? Those are the things that instill relationship, respect, and responsibility in our children. Now, let's go to the second factor, which is the environment. So, when we talk about the environment, I mean the combination of what makes that community to thrive. The combination of the content, the combination of the systems, the combination of the structure, the combination of the communication style, the combination of faith that they believe in. Those are the combinations that will make the community to thrive. So let us now break it down. Concerning the example I cited, in the community, the environment in that community is the orphanage project. The orphanage project. Who are the beneficiary of what you guys want to do in the home? The beneficiary are the outsiders. The beneficiaries are not limited to the immediate family. Of course, now their name is going to be written in the book of life. Let me put it that way, in the good book, in the society. But exceeding that, they have something that can be beneficial to the whole society. So environment we create also has a lot to do with the systems that we created in our home. To make a vibrant family, we have about 8 systems. 8 systems. One of the systems that governs the home is the governing system. Governing system has to do with how do we greet ourselves in this home? Who are we in this family? When we are being corrected in this family, when as a father you are being corrected in this family, how do you respond to the children? Let me cite one example again. I love this topic, the ripple effect. Sometimes ago, my son is listening now, but I didn't tell him this, right? So we went to a supermarket to buy something. So when we bought it, they gave me the receipt. The receipt they give you after you made your purchase. and I don't always want to take the receipt back into my car. I squeezed the paper. I wanted to throw it into the dustbin. I threw it, but the paper did not hit the dustbin. I saw it, but because I was in a hurry, I was going. My son was coming behind me. He carried the grocery, what we bought, he carried it. My son just called my attention to it. He said, "Daddy, please." He caught my attention, he pointed at it. And immediately I saw it, I picked it, I threw it back into the dustbin. I didn't feel anything because he caught my attention to it. It is my responsibility to pick it. But guess what? A week after, one of the sales ladies in the supermarket called my attention to it that I was spoiling my son, that it was supposed to be my son that should pick the paper I threw on the ground. Why did my son have to call me to do it? And I said, wow, what made you think I was spoiling him? How did that happen? He said that he was coming behind me. I said, but the guy carried something. He carried what we bought. So, and I was the one that made the mistake. He caught my attention to it. The woman said, like, no son can they can do that with him. With her. In fact, by the time the fact that the son had to call her, it's a problem. Can you see how we are raising our children? And guess what? If I had done that, if I had called my son, what's the problem with you? My friend, pick it. Guess what? My son will do it because we're in the public, but he will not be happy. And again, I will have inadvertently, thrown that little rock in the pool. The ripple effect will have given him, the boy will have learned negative ripple effect that he won't be able to grow up with self-respect. The responsibility to own himself will not be there because I had shown him that even though I made a mistake, I have somebody else to blame for the mistake I made, right? Then the relationship will be far. There will be negative relationship, meaning that my dad doesn't take to correction. So the environment we create in our home has a lot to do with how we want these guys to, how we want them to grow with the value of respect, the value of relationship, and the value of responsibility. Then the last one, which is the culture. What is that culture? Culture means the result of healthy experience of community or the result of a healthy combination of community and environment. That is what gives us the culture. It is that culture that our children will take out of us. It is that culture they will take to the different relationships that they want to go into. It is that culture they will take there because they've seen how feeble the community they grew up in is. They've seen how unhealthy the community is. They've seen how unhealthy the environment is. They've seen all manners of shaking responsibilities from the environment. They've seen their dad have not in any way owned up to his responsibility. They've seen a situation whereby the dad had, shifted his responsibility to somebody else. So it is that culture they will now take outside. But where we have a good community, a workable community, where we have interesting and compelling stories in that community, where fathers and mothers live a good life. A good life, I'm not talking about a sound economy now. Fine, that is another advantage. But a good life, a life of self-respect, a life that holds critical values in high esteem. They know how they want to live in the house. They've scripted the value system. They've scripted their DNA code, creed, everything. They have the family constitution, right? So that is a sound community. Then the environment, how they've seen how their dad, how the mothers, how everybody in the home are taking into consideration every content in the family constitution, every content in the way their fathers relate with them. They've seen everything perfectly, right? So if they've seen all those things, what will now grow out of that environment and community is what we call culture, is what we call value. So when those children, when they now grow out of there now, right, they begin to form their own system. They begin to form their own value, right? Please permit me to go, into to go a bit biblical. So I love this story of King David, especially in the book of Psalm 44. Yes, I think I'm right, Psalm 44, right? David was saying, when he was eulogizing, the existence of God in their life, he said, our forefathers have told us how you won battles for them. Our forefathers have told us how you rescued them from their enemies. That everything, every battle you won for them, they did not win any one of them by their own sheer strength, but by your own arm stretched out. You won the battles for them. By your own grace, you won the battle for them. How did David know that? How did he know that? He knew that because of the template. Because of the template his forefather handed over to him. And when you look at the book of Deuteronomy 6:7, God was instructing Moses. He said, teach your children's children this book. Teach your children's children. When you look at first in the book of Joshua chapter 1 verse 3 also, when you look at that, 1:8, he said, this book of law shall not depart from your mouth. That book of law, I changed it to, I did not change it. That is actually what it means. This family system, this family structure, this family constitution shall not depart from your house, from your mouth. You shall meditate in day and night. When you meditate in day and night, what will happen? Good success will happen to you, right? So if we want good success in the value of responsibility, in the value of relationship, and in the value of respect to happen to our children, what do we do, right? We pay attention to the ripple effect. We pay attention to that small stone, to that small still voice, to that small action, to that small attitude in our home. How do we relate with our children? How do we do it? Some fathers will always ask this question that, when is the time, is the right time to teach my children value? When is the right time to teach my children sex education? When is the right time to teach my children about their career in life? When is the right time? People are looking for the right time. Every father, almost every father, I was there before I was delivered by right knowledge. Everybody will always looking for the right time. Don't look for the right time. The right time is when you are yourself, even before those children begin to come, before you marry. That is the right time. What are those things? What attitude do you have? How do you behave? How do you relate with people in your life around you? So the same way you relate with people around you, you are likely going to relate with your children like that. You are likely going to speak like that with your children, right? And when you do that, it's a ripple effect. You are throwing a small stone gradually into the pool, and that small stone begin to form circle around you, begin to form circle around the water. When they begin to form circle around the water, begins to expand. The same way, those tiny behavior is expanding in the mind of our children. Don't forget that man that came to me. He decided that if his dad could struggle to send them to school, if people around his dad could rally around him to send them to school, that means his dad is not living the best. He wanted to script a new life for himself. He wanted an end to the ripple effect of his dad. Meanwhile, the other male child felt the ripple effect that his dad had given unto him is the best, and is living in the expression, in the pool of that ripple effect. And the same way will have been affecting the children now if intervention does not come into the man's life. But this guy, 4 years after we created good a family value system for them, the guy is living fine. The guy is my friend. In fact, he's coming out to be part of us, to be part of the associate, because he has tested the right, the positive ripple effect. He has drafted the right thing for himself and is living with it now. Don't forget, there are 3 factors in the next 3-4 minutes. I'm rounding off. There are 3 factors to this for us to enjoy the ripple effect, right? Positive one. The first one is community. Don't forget, community means the cluster of people in the home working with one another towards a goal. The community, the husband and the wife, they're the first, right? Then the environment. What represents the environment? The combination of what makes the community thrive. The combination, what are these combinations? The content the community is using, the type of value, of family system they've created, the type of interesting and compelling stories they've created, the type of family constitution they've created. How do you relate with the children? It's part of the environment. Do you allow bystander effect to affect your fatherhood journey? The way I did not allow the bystander effect to affect to affect my relationship with my son, when the woman saw me a week after and she was chastising me that I was spoiling my child, I was spoiling my son, that it was my son that should have picked that thing up, not me. I said, no. The boy was doing his own responsibility. He was already carrying what we came to buy. It was me that mistakenly threw that paper on the floor. And the boy called my attention to it because we know it in our house. When whoever that makes the mistake, face the correction, face the discipline. If I had said no, we have a book in the home. My boy will just open it, that it is there. When you are being corrected and you refuse to be corrected, this is the disciplinary action against you. I know I will face the punishment in the home. And I say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I picked it back, I dropped it there. But a bystander called my attention to it a week after. So you don't allow bystanders' effect to affect your fatherhood journey. What are those things that you have created, that you have scripted? Those are the environments. Then the result of the 2 factors of the community and the environment, that is the culture. It is that culture that will now stand in the gap, or rather, it is that culture that your children will take out of you. They will take it out. And I remember I used the example of King David in the Bible, and I used the example of how God instructed Moses. The example, God gave Joshua also. Joshua 1:8. This book of law shall not depart from you. This culture shall not depart from you. You shall meditate in day and night. When you have that, then you have successfully raised in your children. You have successfully have or imbibed in your children the hallmark values, which are relationship, respect, and responsibility. Thank you. If there's any question, please let me deal with them now.
Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so, so much. I hope you got value out of this session. If you did get value, can we see your fire emojis? Thank you very much, Mr. Evans. I see your feedback all over the comment section. Mr. Andrew, thank you. Culture, 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 environment, communities. Culture, environment, communities. Mr. Akinola has been talking to us about the hallmark of fatherhood, and he told us the hallmark of fatherhood revolves around the three things he mentioned: respect, responsibilities, and building relationship, and tied it into um, the ripple effect. What an awesome, you know, explanation, metaphor to drive home the conversation tonight. So, if you have a question, please begin to share your questions in the comment section. I'm going to allow him to get a sip of water and then come back to answer your questions. Please drop your questions in the comment section. Um, we we will come back in a moment to take all of the questions. And but by while we're waiting for your questions, we're going to take a review from the inner circle, from one of the fathers in the inner circle. We're going to share that review in just a moment. Okay, so I'm hoping that the review is ready. We're going to play a review from the inner circle while I wait for your questions. I'm listening now to to your to see your questions. I'm reading to see your question. If anybody has a question, let's take the question. Our time is fast spent. It's already 8:38. It's already 8:38. Let me see your questions, your lessons. What are the things that hit you the most in this particular section? What are the things that hit you the most? I heard about the expression from scripture. Our fathers have told us. What stories are you telling your children? What examples are you giving to your children? You know, fathers tell stories a lot. What stories are your children going to see? And every little action you take, no matter how little it is creating a ripple effect in the life of your young people. Every action you take is creating a ripple effect. Are you the kind of father that is living by example? Are you the kind of father that is setting the bar for your children to follow? He also told us a story about those two guys parented by the same father, and then they made decisions based on how they saw their father live. Somebody took a wrong decision because of what he learned from his father, but somehow, by virtue of intervention, the other guy made a right decision. So, some of the things that we do as adults, as parents in the lives of our children, the children cannot even see the difference. They just see it as, if my father did it this way, then most likely that's the best way, or that is the only way to go about it. So you are setting that as an example for your young people. I'm still looking to see questions. I see some questions coming in. I'm going to take the question immediately. Um, I'm going to take the questions very shortly now. I'm still checking to see that we share that review with you very, very importantly. And then I'm giving our guest some time to get a breather, and then we will take your questions. And as soon as he answers that, I'll now welcome him also to give us some final thoughts. So just hang it there a few more um, minutes, a few more minutes. In less than 10 minutes, we should be out of your faces tonight. Okay, okay. While we're waiting for that review, I'm going to take this one question, sir. It says, if you're very close to your children, wouldn't they take you for granted, or you lose their respect? How does that play out? I've heard this a number of times, becoming so relational with your children, and they start taking you for granted and all of that kind of stuff. Please share your thoughts in response to this, sir.
Okay, I think I've had that question. Oftentimes I see that when they are the see finish,
See finish.
see finish. Well, it won't really be. It won't be. Now, it now depends on what you engage them with when you are with them. So if you are the one, that is what I tell fathers is this: don't give unsolicited advice,
Mm. Mm.
even to your children. Don't give unsolicited advice. How do we give unsolicited advice? Immediately we see some things trending. Maybe somebody, especially for example, let me use all this unpalatable story of Yahoo boys and all those things around. Immediately, some of us see all these things, on Facebook, social media, anyhow. Some of us get home and we begin to, question or ask our children that I hope you know the friends that you are moving with. I hope you don't move with this kind of friends. Those things are not so necessary. I don't
Mm.
think they are necessary. Whatever value you want to raise them with, right? Let it be structured. Let it be structured. Have time for it. Maybe 1 hour or 30, and 1 hour could be too much. Maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes on a Sunday or Saturday, or even during the week, if that is the time they are most receptive to you. Draw out your plan. So date, this is what we are going to teach ourselves. Then you just go through whatever you want to teach. Don't make any reference to anything that you know they know. Because once you make reference to all those things that they know, right, it will look like you are judging them, that you are coming from judgmental angle. Let them say themselves that something happened. Daddy, are you aware of it? Oh, that's true. That's true. So that is how it should be. So if we have the right content, I don't think our children, the finish, can actually come into it. You know what? Another thing that may come is this. Maybe when you love them too much, you want to want to be all over them. I have been victim of this before. My children have told me before, Daddy, your own is too much. Please, just go out somewhere. Just go and play somewhere. It will happen. But when you know the time you are supposed to talk to them, when they will be most receptive, because they want their time also. They don't want daddy to hang around them all the time. So if you are the type of father that hangs around them all the time, please change your method. They need a breathing space. Know the time to talk to them. Study them. Study them. If you don't study them, you will not likely connect to them because this was what I faced until 6 years ago. My wife and I didn't know how to connect with our daughter. We did not know. We thought, each time we wanted to talk, this girl would not be, oh, daddy, leave me, I'm not ready. No, leave me, leave me. Until one day in the night, around 11:30, 12:30, I was reading. And she woke up, she heard my footsteps, and she woke up, she just came to home and meet me, Daddy, let us talk. There's something I want to give you. Let us talk. That was when I knew that the most time and the time this guy will be most receptive to me is late in the night. And I've always been targeting that to talk to her. But unsolicited advice, I don't give. Once I come in with unsolicited advice, they get tired of me. And I believe this is what works, for teenage, almost every teenager. I think so. I think so.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, sir. So if you focus on building relationships, the children will be the one coming to you with the talk. You will not
Yeah.
have to be the one following them up to ask all the questions and be the police and all of that kind of thing.
Mm.
Thank you very much, sir. And then there will be no such thing as see finish. Your children cannot even see you finish. you know, your children cannot see you finish. Coach Wendy is back in the house. Before I ask her to speak, I'm going to ask the media people to roll the inner circle review in just a minute. Let's take the review now.
Hi, my name is Dr. Adrian Emil, and I have been part of the International Parent Academy for the past 6 months, since December. I have two kids, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and it's been a lovely journey so far. I've learned so much from the academy. I've learned how to discipline my children properly. I've learned how to teach them executive skills to make them more independent. I've also learned how to be a better parent, not trying to do the things that our parents did and by shouting and making your children fear you. I've also learned to allow my children actually get to know me better and bond with them better and letting them to understand how life works in a very fun way. It also helped me to be a better person in terms of things on how I communicate with people, not just my kids. So it's been a holistic experience for myself and my wife, and I can't thank Wendy Love for creating this lovely academy and this lovely arena for us to come and learn to be better versions of ourselves by our parents and better versions of ourselves going forward. Initially, when I came into the academy, I was initially very apprehensive because I did not know what to expect. There were a lot of women there, and I thought there would be very few men, but I went in and I was able to engage in the activities on a daily basis. And yes, it was difficult to be quite consistent, but the few times I did not do the activities, I felt very bad and I felt something was missing in my day. My kids have really enjoyed and seen the change in me, and I just look forward to getting better and better. I'm not yet there, I'm a work in progress, but as I say, consistency is key and perseverance is key also. So I want to thank Wendy, and I look forward to learning some more from you. Thank you, and bye-bye.
All right. Coach Wendy, I know you want to speak. I have one more question. I have one other question in the comment section. I see Mr. Peter Bayo asking.
Let's get
Okay.
done with the question.
All right. Okay. The question is it right to correct your children in public or for your children to correct you in public?
Of course, it's not right. It's not right to correct our children in the public, and it's not right also for children to correct us in the public. Now, the next question will not be, when my child does something I don't like in the public, how do I correct? How does he or how does she know what he or she is doing is wrong? Because if I allow it to allow that moment to go, and it's forget, and the girl and the children and the child will see that everything is right. Okay, this is what you do. Just take a descriptive word, right? A descriptive word that is known within the family, and that is part of the environment that I'm talking about. A descriptive word that is known in the family such that when somebody does anything wrong outside, what do you say? Okay, take for instance, there is a particular meal I don't eat. There's a particular meal I don't eat. So if my son does something wrong outside, or my daughter does anything wrong outside in the public, and I don't like it, for him or her to know, number one, I could just say, maybe I can just mention, actually, I need a bath right now. If I tell him I need a bath right now, he knows that what I have done, my dad, does not approve it. My dad does not approve it. So even nobody will know. My friends, the people, even our friends, whoever that is around will not know that I've chastised him. So hearing that alone, he will feel bad. She will feel bad that, oh my God. And the next thing will now be, he or she will just smile. So the communication style is on we both know, we understand the communication style. So the same thing, if I to do anything wrong and they just want to correct me, they can just say that, Daddy, I'm going to give you a bath today. I'm going to give you a bath. So immediately I know, oh my God, and this is what happens. And that is one aspect. Another aspect is this. You see, when a child does something wrong, one of these two might have happened. The first one is non-recognition of self. Non-recognition of self. Non-recognition of self means that in a family, what do we stand for? Are we diplomats? Are we royalty? Are we solution providers? What are those descriptive words? We call it perceptual code. What is this family? What does this family know for? So what you are known for, the next thing is, if it's possible the person has forgotten who he is in the family. So if peradventure outside you behave somehow, right? The parents can actually still say, wow, see royalty. See the way my royalty behaves. Once you say that, it's just like, hey, now for you, is this how royalty behaves, right? So all those things that are words to use, that I mean, that it will not even mean that you shout. But the one I want every father to really stick to, just find something that you don't like. Find a drink that you don't take. Find a particular meal that you don't eat, that, and let your children know, let everybody knows that, okay, when you do this thing outside, it could even be in the home. Maybe you have some people coming together to visit you in the home, and a child is just doing something, blah, 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 and once you say, I want somebody to give me, I want to eat a banana, they know one of them has done something that none of the policy, none of the system in the home approves of any of those things. They know, and from there, they adjust. There won't be any need to shout. No need to give eye, because if you give an eye, they will know, and the people outside too will know that something had happened. But just when you have that descriptive word, nobody will know what happened. They'll just be imagining, or they'll just be saying, you want to eat about why you are here. But those words are understood by you and the children. Please don't shout at them. Don't even correct them. Don't say what you did is wrong. Don't say it outside. Get a word that describes a particular rejection or approval of their behavior.
All right, awesome, awesome. I like the idea of creating a code, more like a language that only you and your kids can understand. That is so, so, so powerful. Thank you very much, sir, for spending this time with us. I see Uncle Ibuka in the comment section. I'm a product of the inner circle that has transformed me and my idea of parenting. That review we took, he said his parents now have they're experiencing a new father. That is what we want to come out of this conference. That as you go, your family will see a new father, your wife will see a new husband. I remember Pastor Siri telling us in the first session, this is not a conference you finish and you can start saying what you learned. Go and show what you learned. Your family wants you to show them the practicals. Let them see that you have been at the father's conference. Thank you, everybody. Coach Wendy is back here, so let me give you back the floor before we round up.
In fact, when Mr. Akinropo finished explaining that discipline part, I was going to say this is the time I forgot that it was an online session. So I was going to say that and I will be clapping, as in what's happening. Are people not clapping? And I realized, okay, this is an online session. I want to say thank you, because I am a sucker for discipline. Because for me, the core is discipline is one of the things that erodes the self-concept of that erodes uh, connection system that we have built in parents. It is
True.
one of the core systems that we are battling with, and that from before till now. Like the way that said, what goes that working, not have anything you're working towards, that means you can't even go nowhere. In fact,
Mm,
this is a session you just listen to and just say, oh, fire deep is a session you need to calm down, listen, take notes, and understand and all of that the speaker has actually delivered today. But one of my greatest pointer was when he said, every father must. And while he was talking, what he shared here today were templates. Mr. Kirobo just shared templates. And if you are in the inner circle, you are in the academy, you hear me talk about templates. If you want to raise a king, there is a template to raise a king. You cannot raise children who thrive without a template. And I think for me, that was the core of this conversation. All right. Somebody says my audio is not clear. Is it better now? Somebody says my audio is not clear. Is
It
it
was
better now?
cracking. It was cracking, but it's better now.
It's
It's fine
starting
now.
to go. It's fine now.
Okay. Okay, all right, thank you. So there is always a template. Everything that succeeds has a template. There is a template for fatherhood. If you don't find it, you won't succeed. No matter how you want to argue it, there is a template for raising kings. And that's what the intentional parent is about. We talk about templates, we talk about manuals. Whoever told you that there is no manual for parenting lied to you. I'm going to say that again. Whoever told you that there is no manual for parenting lied to you. When I was listening to Mr. Akinropo, he was talking about the governing systems. He was talking about the culture. That was a whole lot. That's like a book. That's like a manual. That was him really now the manual in his own hand, shared with examples, practical examples, how some of these things play out in his home. And I think this was, it was very, very amazing for me. I was, able to, it was so relatable. And if you're a parent in the inner circle, you can relate. You can relate to every single thing he taught today. Recently, we created the parenting plan in the academy, and it's used exclusively for parents in the academy. It is a plan that actually plans how you want to parent from test launch to actually the time where you launch the child, the 18 years. So where you launch the child, what is your plan? When you see a 26-year-old son of yours, who do you want to see? And how do you want to get there? Assumption, they say, is the lowest form of knowledge. Anything you assume doesn't give you the kind of result that you want to, bring. And one of the things that I say is that is either you're parenting on intentionality or you're parenting on probability. When you parent on probability, it means that you can get 1/10. It means that you can get 2/10. It means that you can get 5/10. When you parent on intentionality, it means that you will get 100/100. That's what it meant, because you are actually testing the tools that you're using. There are systems put together, and those systems can be tested where you are per time. There is no assumption. So if you're a father and you have listened to this session, please go and do. Do not leave this session and say, oh, wow, they are so experienced and all of that. Practice. I want to see reviews of how you have practiced some of these things and told us what it is that we need to, hear, the change in fatherhood. Thank you again, Mr. Akinropo. I really do appreciate you, sir. And Mr. Akinropo is one of my bosses. I told you that if I see him now in Lagos, I'm going to be on the floor frustrating. He knows. And I am really, really grateful that he's agreed to do it. Mr. Akinropo is not just experienced in the coaching industry. Mr. Akinropo is experienced as a father who has gone through the ranks and also, done a lot. There were two men I met in the industry when I got into the industry, Mr. Akinropo and Barrister Taiwo Akinlabi. Barrister Akinlabi is also going to be speaking, on Sunday. He's going to be bringing his own kind of fire. You don't want to miss that session. And and over the years, I've seen, them actually, produce results. And for me, it's about results that, that it actually comes out with whatever it is that we teach. There are not too many men who teach fatherhood, in Africa. I don't think I know of more than 2 people, really, in the whole of Africa. It's a big deal. And these men have taken it upon themselves to transform the fatherhood system. Thank you so much, sir, for all you do. And we really do appreciate you. Do not forget to follow Mr. Akinropo. The name of his academy is Parentmark Academy. And you can follow them on Instagram. You can rave over them. Like I said to you earlier, the TIP Fathers Conference came to you at no cost, but it's coming to us at a lot of costs. All right? So do not let that lot of costs go in ruins. Practice Our partners have put in money. We have put in money, time, energy. As at this morning, I don't think many of the team members, both the volunteers and the TIP team, have actually even slept well. Dozier is here. Dozier has been working since how many days now? But we're all here today. I just want to encourage you and also encourage you to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be having a session with Ebuka, the king of boys. You don't want to miss this session. Trust me, you want to be here. Ebuka is going to practically, literally bring down the roof. All right. And Mr. Akinropo is about to leave. Yes, thank you so much, sir, for being here. And please remember
Thank
to
you,
follow
sir.
him on social media. Thank you so much. Remember to follow him. Remember to rave over him. That's the price that you have to pay. All right. Yes, please. And Dozier, I think that's about that for today. While
Yes,
we
yes,
wait
yes,
for
yes, yes.
tomorrow,
Yes. We are way
I
out
will
of
be
time. It's 9 p.m. So let's
yes.
wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a
All
whole
right.
lot lined up for us tomorrow. Coach Ebuka is here. Ojobo Agbo is in the house. A number of other persons are available. Tomorrow we're going to have the panel session
Panel
in the
session.
morning. So tune in very early in the morning. Take your seat in the front row and get ready for the sessions and the fire falling in the house tomorrow. From my end,
All
it's good
right.
night to you. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you so much. See you at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then in the evening, we're also going to be having Chris, who is going to be talking about telling us about having a will. Mr. Chris is the current SSA to the governor of Kaduna State, and he's going to be talking about, a will. He's a barrister. He's well, learned in that aspect. And we're also going to be having a buka, and we will be having the panel session. All of the information you need is on our Telegram channel, and also we'll be streaming right on this channel as we go off. Thank you so much for being here. Good night, and see you again tomorrow.
Hi, my name is Dr. Adrian Mildrekere, and I have been part of the International Parent Academy for the past 6 months, since December. I have two kids, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and it's been a lovely journey so far. I've learned so much from the academy. I've learned how to discipline my children properly. I've learned how to teach them executive skills to make them more independent. I've also learned how to be a better parent, not trying to do the things that our parents did and by shouting and making your children fear you. I've also learned to allow my children actually get to know me better and bond with them better, and letting them to understand how life works in a very fun way. It also helped me to be a better person in terms of things on how I communicate with people, not just my kids. So it's been a holistic experience for myself and my wife, and I can't thank Wendy Love for creating this lovely academy and this lovely arena for us to come and learn to be better versions of ourselves by our parents and better versions of ourselves going forward. Initially, when I came into the academy, I was initially very apprehensive because I did not know what to expect. There were a lot of women there, and I thought there would be very few men, but I went in and I was able to engage in the activities on a daily basis. And yes, it was difficult to be quite consistent, but the few times I did not do the activities, I felt very bad and I felt something was missing in my day. My kids have really enjoyed and seen the change in me, and I just look forward to getting better and better. I'm not yet there, I'm a work in progress, but as I say, consistency is key and perseverance is key also. So I want to thank Wendy, and I look forward to learning some more from you. Thank you, and bye-bye.